is Ryan Cox from St Helens. And Eamon O'Carroll says this game is big for Bradford in terms of building momentum and what his side look like going into the final phase of the championship season. Eamon O'Carroll says the Bulls will be treating every game now like knockout rugby as Bradford target that top 4 finish and home advantage, which could be crucial in the playoffs. So Dewsbury with first use of the ball here at Barricade Hudsall, and they will play towards the South Bank Hospitality stand in this first half. They will defend the Ruley Avenue terracing, and already Bradford setting out their defensive stall here with a big strong challenge there on one of the 5 former Bradford men, Matt Garside, who's brought down on his own 30-metre line. So it's going to be Curtis Davis, the Welsh international, scampering straight out of dummy half. He's wrapped up by Harvey Makin, 5 shy of halfway. That's the 5th and last tackle. Hookham, boot to ball. Holmes will let that one bounce and skittle into the in-goal area and roll dead. Tap on the 20 for the Bradford Bulls. If you're just joining us, it is Friday night Championship Rugby League under the Hudsall floodlights with Mick the Game Caller Gledhill. And don't forget, Sunday afternoon, we have our second game of the week. Doncaster hosting Halifax, so be sure to tune in on Sunday afternoon from 2:30 as we recap the events of this evening, and also what happens in the south of France tomorrow evening between Toulouse and Sheffield, as Bradford are up and over halfway here with Holmes giving the ball towards Appo on the outside. He gets a quick play of the ball in, 30 away from the Dewsbury line, sorry. I thought I was back at the Eco Power last week, as we now see Lilly give the ball to Dan Smith, who is brought down in a 2-man tackle, 25 out from the Dewsbury post, centre field position. Tyron up to Gaskell, Gaskell to Lilly. Lilly short ball to Davis, and Davis will penetrate the Dewsbury 20-metre line, and Bradford all of a sudden, they're on tackle number 4 with 1 remaining here. 0-0 on the scoreboard, 90 seconds gone. Gaskell to Makin. 3 Dewsbury defenders wrap up Harvey Makin. The Wigan Warriors low knee, 10 out underneath the post. Last tackle goes back to Gaskell. Crossfield kick, looking for Rockenbow over on the right. And that kick will come down fortuitously for former York winger Perry Whitley, who takes the ball 2 metres out from his own try line. And now Bradford, who are playing in their 3rd shirt, the amber and red and black stripes, a very commemorative special shirt, which was the first ever Bradford Northern shirt when Bradford played here at Hudsall back in 1934. And they're certainly on top in the opening exchanges here, because Dewsbury are 5 metres out from their own try line on tackle number 3. Make that tackle number 4. They're now 8 metres out from their own try line, as we see Appo and Smith race up and bring down Matt Garside. And because Dewsbury are in a bit of a hole here, they'll kick early on tackle 4, but Hookham's kicker's not found halfway, and Ockenbaugh is now going to play the ball on what is tackle number 1, and a fresh set for the Bulls, 30 out from the Dewsbury line, as we now see Romain Franco on his Bradford debut, the French international, former Catalans Wakefield man, rolled over, 25 out, tackle 2. Otts in there at dummy half, goes short towards Lilly on this main stand side. Now it's going to go to Leeds Rhinos low knee, 19-year-old Jack Smith, who's wrapped up and rolled back towards his own line in a good defensive tackle, but that's tackle number 3. Lilly goes probing laterally across the face of the post to Gaskell, Gaskell to Davis. Davis is wrapped up over on the far stand side by Graham and Walker in a 2-man tackle. Tackle 4 for the Bulls, 1 left on this set, as it's going to be a strong charge down the middle here from Hallis on his first game back in 2. So they're on the last tackle, the Bulls, 5 metres out in front of the Dewsbury post. It goes to Smith towards Lilly. Lilly doesn't put boot to ball. Dewsbury have knocked the ball forward. It's former Castleford man Lewis Carr knocked on. It'll be a repeat set of 6 as Bradford were looking to move the ball over on this left-hand edge. You almost expect when Lilly's got the ball on this left-hand edge, it's going to be a kick through for Kieran Gill, but obviously Kieran Gill sadly still missing through that hip injury, so he's expecting to be back for the round 25 game against Halifax at this year, so that's most pleasing in terms of Bradford's leading try scorer. And certainly a player who provides a lot of attacking options for Bradford. So Bradford from the scrum, Holmes to Ockenbaugh. Ockenbaugh's put a foot in touch as the ball comes back on the inside. Myers crashes over, try will be disallowed. Good sliding defence there from the Dewsbury Rams, and it was Marcus Walker and Perry Whitley who were alert to Bradford's expansive play from the scrum. They had the scrum 20 metres in from this main stand side, and it was good linking qualities there between Gaskell and Lilly. Holmes involved in that second phase, and Ockenbaugh just adjudged to have put a foot in touch under the challenge of former York Knights man Perry Whitley. So Dewsbury back in possession here. We've had 4.5 minutes gone on the clock. Friday night rugby league in the Championship. We've got games featuring Toulouse, Sheffield tomorrow, and then on Sunday a sizzling Super Sunday in the Championship. Playoff hopefuls Batley and Widnes meet at Mount Pleasant. That relegation battle for Halifax intensifies with a trip to Doncaster. Featherstone host Barrow, Swinton host Wakefield, and Whitehaven host a very informed York Knights under new coach Mark Applegarth. So 0-0 here, just over 5 gone. If you're just joining us, it was a 7:30 kickoff on West Yorkshire Radio. Also syndicated coverage on Bulls TV this evening, as Dewsbury once again are on the last tackle deep inside their own half of the field after Myers and Davis wrap up Marcus Walker. So they're going to give the ball here towards Hookham, who once again will put boot to ball from deep inside his own half. Bounce of the ball is kind for young Jack Smith, and here goes Jack Smith straight into some fierce Dewsbury defence, but look at those metres he's made after contact. He carries Elliot Morris and Jackson Walker with him, and now Bradford are given a set restart. The first bit of ill discipline from either side there, because Jackson Walker was just holding Jack Smith down in the tackle. So Ockenbaugh on tackle 1, 40 away. Ott goes herring out of dummy half, tackle 2, centre field, 25 away from the Dewsbury line. Holmes dummy half goes short down the middle now to Smith. Smith looks to offload the ball behind, but he's wrapped up in a good try tackle from Zeus Silk and Matt Garside, who stopped the former Castleford Featherstone man from offloading the ball out of the tackle. Here goes Romain Franco. He's going to be brought down 10 away, just to the left-hand side of the post. So Bradford with a couple of tackles remaining on this set after Dewsbury conceded that set restart. They move the ball with Hallis now to Gaskell towards Davis. Davis has lofted the ball forward, so that's a second error from the Bulls in the opening exchanges here, and the scoreboard remains Bradford Bulls 0, Dewsbury Rams 0. Exactly 6 minutes gone on the clock. So we've seen a couple of errors there from the Bulls early doors here. We saw Jordan Ockenbaugh put a foot in touch after that tackle from Perry Whitley, and then we've just seen Gaskell double pumping the pass on the outside to John Davis, and Davis just coming up with that error. So it will be scrum head and feed to the Dewsbury Rams, 10 metres out from the Dewsbury line. So 6.5 gone on the clock. Dewsbury 0, Bradford 0. Bradford third in the table on 26 points. We'll talk more about the plus 4 and against and how that could be crucial throughout the course of this evening. But once again, Bradford setting their stall out very early doors here, although Dan Smith and Sam Hallis will be penalised because Marcus Walker, the former Hull, Whitehaven and Newcastle man, has been held down in the tackle inside his own 15-metre line. So for the first time this evening, Dewsbury Rams are going to potentially have a play the ball inside the Bradford half of the field. Well, Eamon O'Carroll was very clear at full time after the game against Doncaster that areas of Bradford's game do need tidying up, like respecting the ball when in possession, being an issue once more, but certainly a huge area of improvement expected there in tonight, and there's certainly no excuse for that sort of sloppy, stodgy, scrappy attack. So game management, an issue last week. Thus far, Bradford on top with their defensive exploits. What can Dewsbury do now? They're on tackle number 2, 10 inside the Bradford half of the field, so 40 away from the Bradford line in a centre field position. As a quick play, the ball comes in. Curtis Davis out of dummy half. Now it's going to go back down the middle here with former Halifax man Elliot Morris, who's absolutely clattered there by Hallis and Apo, as we see Hookham move the ball on this right-hand edge now to Matt Garside, 33 years of age. He's wrapped up, 12 away from the Bradford Bulls try line. Davis again in at dummy half to Hookham. Hookham to Sykes. Sykes goes on the power play to Turner. Ball's gone loose. It's kicked forward. It's come off a Bradford hand. The crowd don't like it. Holmes is away, and Holmes would have gone 90 metres there for the opening score. But the officials will say it has come off a Bradford hand, and it was on the last tackle there. Hookham to Sykes. Sykes kept the ball moving to Turner, and it was the pass from Turner towards Marcus Walker that is being adjudged to have been touched by Jaden Ockimbaugh. Well, we've just seen a replay of that on the screen, and the way the ball has come out of the tackle, you can only assume that the officials have got that one absolutely correct and spot on. And now Bradford will be forced to do a repeat set of 6 defending their own line 10 metres out. Can Dewsbury get an early score here to put the cat with the pigeons? Who knows? From the scrum, they move it short side with Lewis Carr. He'll get to his feet, he'll play the ball. Out of dummy half now, it's going to go straight down the middle with prop forward Elliot Morris. He's brought down by Harvey Makin and Tyrone Ott underneath the Bradford post, 5 metres out. Hookham links there with Sykes. Sykes starts into that Bradford line. Just dropped the shoulder and put a bit of a shimmy on there, did Paul Sykes. But up and alert were Smith and Davis in defence for the Bulls. 2 tackles left here for the Dewsbury Rams as they move the ball with Jackson Walker, the former Cornwall Hunslet man, been at Dewsbury since 2022. He'll play the ball on tackle 4, and they're going to try and force the way over the line here with Matt Garside, but he's halted a metre away. And this is the last tackle now for Paul March's side. Bradford 0, Dewsbury 0. Hookham crossfield kick, targets Ockimbaugh. Dewsbury knocked the ball forward there, and that's Perry Whitley who got his right palm to that ahead of Jaden Ockimbaugh. He knocks it forward. Bradford keep their line intact, and it remains here at Bardercard Odsal, just shy of 10 minutes gone on West Yorkshire Radio, Bulls TV. Bradford Bulls no score, Dewsbury Rams no score. So 7 changes made by Eamon O'Carroll this evening as Romain Franco, Lee Gaskell, Jack Smith, Dan Smith, Sam Hallis, Eben Skur and Nathan Mason return to the fray. And Bradford immediately making metres forward from their own 10-metre line with Jaden Ockimbaugh. He's got 6 tries this term, made his NRL debut back in 2019 as Bradford win their first penalty of the evening. Ryan Cox, the official from St Helens, officiating his 3rd Bradford game of the season, says that Dewsbury just were taking too long to clear the ruck. Lee Gaskell will put boot to ball, and he will take Bradford 40 metres in upfield and just shy of the halfway line, where the ball will be quickly tapped on tackle 1 here by Jaden Myers. And Jaden Myers, on appearance number 20 of the season, gets to his feet. He'll play the ball, and it's going to be Davis in at dummy half. Now it's going to be Smith who comes down the middle of the field. It's a very simple game plan from the Bulls, although Dan Smith has lost the ball under a big collision there from Zeus Silk, and I do believe it's the Huddersfield Giant loanee, 19-year-old Jack Billington, who came in as well. So it's a 3rd error from the Bulls here. Certainly first half last week against Doncaster, Bradford coming up with 7 first half errors. Second half there was that improvement, but certainly it's not been a clean, crisp start by Bradford standards, although they are dominating the game in terms of defence and territory and restricting what Dewsbury do when they are in possession. So they're going to come from deep inside their own half of the field. They're on tackle 2 here at Paul March's side. Relegated and condemned to League One with that 18-10 loss at home to Whitehaven last week, and never really in that game after being 16-0 down. And then Dale Ferguson was sent off just before half-time for a high tackle, and that effectively probably ended that game as a contest, as Whitehaven and Kyle Amor picked up a crucial win and crucial points. So here come Dewsbury. They are 15 inside the Bradford half of the field here, with Makin in defence alongside Hallis. Davis out of dummy half, goes straight there to Silk, and the former Hull FC Academy players playing the ball 20 away from the Bradford line on what is the last tackle, as Turner gives the ball to Lewis Carr. Carr can't take the ball in, and that has gone forward. It's been knocked forward, and Romain Franco did exceptionally well there, just disrupting that last tackle power play move by the Dewsbury Rams. So 3 errors to 2. You kind of get a feel for where this game is at this particular moment. 5 early errors, And we've just had 12 minutes gone on the clock, and it's currently scoreless here at Bardacard Odsal. Well, we've mentioned Bradford's defence, only 4 tries conceded in the last 3 games. That's 26 points in 240 minutes of championship action, and that's really the way, you know, that Bradford have managed to win those games. Certainly last week, more evident than most, with that huge Herculean effort in defence. But here come Bradford now on the attack. What can they do to try and trouble this Dewsbury Rams defence? The 5 shy of halfway, tackle free, with Makin playing the ball. Lot goes in at dummy half. Smith now on halfway to Hallis. Hallis is wrapped up, and they're on the halfway line centre field as Gaskell puts a high hanging kick, and he's going to target Perry Whitley and Callum Turner, but Ockimbore's come down with the ball, gives it back to Davis. Davis to Gaskell, and Dan Smith on his return to action will open the scoring for the Bradford Bulls. Just like that, the marvel and majesty of Lee Gaskell, the high-weighted hanging kick, nothing that Marcus Walker or Perry Whitley could do about that one. It was taken cleanly by Ockimore. He passed it back on the inside to Davis. Davis to Gaskell. There was nobody at home for the Dewsbury Rams, with Dan Smith opening his first try in the red, amber and black on what is his 10th appearance. Welcome back, Dan Smith. He's missed the last 11 since he went off in the second half against Whitehaven back in round 11, and that was clever, intuitive play there from Lee Gaskell. The precision kicking already looking like being Bradford's main attacking weapon this evening, and it's the Bradford Bulls 4, Dewsbury Rams 0. We've had 14 minutes gone on the clock, and that has got this big Bradford crowd up and ready. And like I say, Dan Smith looking to make up for lost time. That is the message from him as Jordan Lillett goes out to 1 from 1 for the evening. It's Bradford Bulls 6, Dewsbury Rams 0 here. 14 minutes gone on the clock. West Yorkshire Radio, Bulls TV, Mick the Game Caller Gledall. Also the West Yorkshire Radio Bulls TV team here in attendance, Kieran and Russ, working tirelessly and effortlessly as Bradford open the scoring. In quite spectacular fashion there. They had to work hard, did Bradford, for that one. It's a try that's come from a play and a move that started on the halfway line with Gaskell putting boot to ball. So what can the Bulls do here on the restart? They lead the Rams by 6 points to 0. Making tackle 1. Otts in at dummy half. Hallis tackle 2. Wrapped up there by Walker and Graham. Being held in the tackle, there is Sam Hallis. No penalty forthcoming as Tyrone Ott nearly goes through a gap, but it's shut at the 11th hour there by Jackson Walker. But all of a sudden, Bradford now, they're up to halfway early in this set after points as Lilly chimes into that line to Holmes. Holmes is twisting, turned by Sykes. Good defence there from the 43-year-old. Holmes will get to his feet. He'll play the ball 30 away from the Dewsbury line. They move the ball back in centre field with Gaskell. Harvey Makin, who's making a big impact, and he's been given the nod this evening to start. He's going to play the ball on what is now the last tackle for Bradford, 20 metres out, as once again Lee Gaskell kicks towards Ockimbour, as we see Ockimbour palm the ball back once again. It goes to Holmes, to Lilly. Lilly's caught in possession there as three Dewsbury Rams defenders stopped Jordan Lilly from smuggling the ball out the back to Tyrone Ott, who must have been plotting in his mind, if he gets the ball, he's underneath the post for his first try of the season. But it remains Dewsbury Rams 0, Bradford Bulls 6 as the floodlights start to come on, as Dewsbury lose the ball behind the play the ball, and they somehow manage to recover possession a metre out from their own try line, but they're now on tackle number 3. And they're carrying the ball forward here with former Castleford Tigers man Brad Graham, who plays the ball 5 away from their own line. And at long last, they're now outside their own 20-metre line as Lewis Carr will just kick early. But there's no real script or vision there from Lewis Carr, although Tom Holmes has come up with a Huge error here. There was no pressure on Tom Holmes. Lewis Carr was potentially heading towards touch on this main stand side, so he kicked with Jack Smith and Romain Franco looking to bundle him into touch. So it's a bit of a haphazard kick, which has kind of rolled on a diagonal path along the floor, and Tom Holmes not able to take it in. A fourth error of the evening for the Bradford Bulls. Scrum, head and feed to Dewsbury. 10 inside the Bradford half of the field. So 16 minutes gone on the clock here at Bardacard Odsal. Bradford leading Dewsbury by 6 points to 0, as we now see Dewsbury looking to break clear as Sykes involves Walker, the former Hull FC Whitehaven Newcastle man. He'll get to his feet, he'll play the ball, 25 out from the Bradford line, tackle number 1. It's going to be Davis in there at dummy half to Walker. Dewsbury since 2022, as we mentioned previously, is 15 away now on tackle 2. Down the middle with Elliot Morris, wrapped up there by Hallis and Making. 2 left here for the Rams. Short ball towards Walker, and Jackson Walker's felled on what is tackle number 4. 1 remaining as Elliot Morris now draws in that Bulls defence, gives it to Hookham. Bradford short side lacking numbers, but Davis and Smith go straight into the chest there of Sykes and cut off that attacking move. And that's the last tackle with Sykes playing the ball. So Hookham puts boot to ball in the in-goal area. Holmes palms it dead. And this is a good showing here by the Dewsbury Rams after Bradford had just come up with that error, because they forced a goal line dropout via the boot of Jacob Hookham. So as we said, Bradford making 7 changes versus 1 change. Is that a factor? Well, we're certainly going to look how cohesive the connectivity and how measured each side looked. And an interesting thing that we've not yet mentioned this evening, watch out for the Tyranot Curtis Davis battle, because neither side have named a replacement interchange hooker, so it's looking like it's going to be a big 80 minutes for Tyranot and Curtis Davis. So an outstanding effort from both under the Bardacard Odsal floodlights here. So just shy of 20 minutes gone. Dewsbury moving the ball with Sykes to Turner, the former Castleford Newcastle man, wrapped up there, 15 away from the Bradford line. And the Rams are just to the right of Bradford's post. Davis dummy half, goes short down the middle and direct here with Matt Garside, who had 2 seasons at Bradford in 2018, 2019, and the former London Sheffield man plays the ball in quick, hasty fashion, as Dewsbury now have lost the ball, but it's gone backwards as Ockenbaugh's gone for an intercept, knocked it on. Another error for the Bulls, and it's going to be a 3rd consecutive repeat set of 6 for the Dewsbury Rams. Well, if history repeats itself, we certainly know that Bradford can show that effort, that teamwork, that enterprise, and certainly work for each other by putting themselves under unnecessary defensive pressure there. It's one of those moments where if Ockenbaugh intercepts and goes, everybody's cheering. As it is, Bradford have come up with a 5th error of the evening, and that now will see the Rams and Paul March's side have another set of 6 on the Bradford line. If you're just joining us, West Yorkshire Radio Bulls TV, Dan Smith on his first game back in 11 on a lovely power play move from the Bradford Bulls, instigated by Lee Gaskell. So 10 metres out in front of the post, Dewsbury go on the attack. Can they breach Bradford's line? Whitehaven certainly couldn't do it a couple of rounds ago, and Doncaster certainly couldn't do it in the second half of last week's 18 points to 4 win. They're on tackle 2, 5 out underneath the Bradford post, playing the ball here with Marcus Walker as Bradford concede the set restart and the 6 again, and Jacob Hookham on what is tackle number 1. Sorry, Curtis Davis on what is tackle number 1 is brought down on top of the Bradford line. So the tackle count restarts and resets as Hookham now gives the ball backwards towards Elliot Morris. It's gone backwards, say the officials, but Dewsbury, crucially, they've still got possession, but they have lost nearly 15 metres in that sloppy play. So Davis, dummy half now to Morris. Morris just goes to Davis and Ott, and Davis and Ott wrap him up. Morris plays the ball. They're going to go over on the left-hand side here with Hookham to Sykes. Sykes looks to bust through a gap there involving Marcus Walker, who's wrapped up 2 away from the Bradford try line. So a bit of incessant pressure here from the Dewsbury Rams on this Bradford try line as Tyron Ott comes in with Harvey Making and Dan Smith. And all of a sudden, Dewsbury are on the last tackle. So 3 consecutive set of 6. It's going to be Hookham who moves the ball on the right-hand side. And Kevin Appo comes in and he duly wraps up the danger there from the former Castleford man, Brad Graham, who is held 5 5 metres short. So it remains here at Barricade Hudsall. Bradford Bulls 6, Dewsbury Rams 0. And we've just had over 20 minutes gone here at Barricade Hudsall underneath the floodlights. West Yorkshire Radio, Friday night coverage of the championship. It's round 22, 5 rounds to go. Franklin Pelly's just come on the field here for Dan Smith. Here goes Ockenbaugh out of dummy half, 20 shy of halfway. First time Bradford have had the ball in a good 5 minutes. As here goes Franklin Pelly down the middle. Listen to the noise from the crowd. You can tell Big Frank's on the field, the former Hull FC Parramatta man, as Lily now is 10 inside the Dewsbury half of the field. Ball goes over on that right side from Davis to Myers. Myers is wrapped up, 25 out. Under the floodlights here, Friday night lights, it's going to go back to Gaskell, boot to ball on the last tackle, and chasing this is Franco, Holmes and Smith, and it's Holmes and Franco who bring down Lewis Carr, 5 away from his own try line, and it's going to be Brad Graham straight out of dummy half, tackle 2, and Dewsbury penned once again 10 metres out from their own try line as Hallis and Davis wrap up Graham. Marcus Walker out of dummy half, 3rd tackle gone, 15 away from their own line. So Bradford firmly on top here in terms of the defensive efforts. Eamon will probably like to see a little bit more with ball retention and respect for the ball in hand. But once again, Dewsbury having to float the ball out wide towards Lewis Carr on what is now going to be the last tackle. So another Herculean effort in defence from the Bradford Bulls, because Dewsbury are going to kick from just outside their own 20-metre line as Callum Turner sends that one down towards Jaden Ockenbaugh, who allows the ball to bounce and takes that one under no real pressure. And 30 out from their own line, 20 shy of halfway, and we have around about 16 minutes to go to half-time here. So just the one try in this first half, and credit to Dewsbury. They're certainly muscling up as we see Eben Skerr come on the field for Harvey Makin. So second interchange of the evening made by Eamon O'Carroll as Tom Holmes runs lateral, dummies the ball towards Hallis. Skerr and Pelly decides to front up and take the tackle there from Morris and Davis as Eben Skerr comes on the field. It's his first outing in 8 for Eben Skerr. He's on halfway line, held in the tackle. Quick play the ball. Tyranot runs into some Dewsbury Rams marker defence, which was certainly suspect, as Tom Holmes is caught high now by a Dewsbury Rams player. Curtis Davis has actually gone late on Franklin Pelly, and Ryan Cox, the young official from St Helens, is going to call time off here. He wants a word with Callum Turner, who I think is just chirping and chelping in the ear of young Ryan, and Ryan Cox gets the nod from the touch judge. It will be Bradford's second penalty of the evening, and it was the high tackle from Marcus Walker on Tom Holmes. So Bradford leading Dewsbury by 6 points to 0. It's going to be a rare foray into the Dewsbury 20-metre line as Lily puts boot to ball on this main stand side. They've not been down here for around about 8 to 9 minutes, the Bulls, and can they turn that indiscipline into points on the board? Skerr tackle 1, 10 away in front of the post. It's going to be out of dummy half towards Lily, to Gaskell, to Holmes. Myers has lost the ball forward. Dewsbury pick it up with Perry Whitley, and that will be a 0 tackle play, and that is now a 6th error in this first half from the Bradford Bulls. So in answer to the question, do we think the 7 changes versus 1 change are going to be a factor this evening? Well, clearly they are, because this is not a very good connected Bradford performance with ball in hand. Defensively sound, yes, but 6 errors in the first half. It is more of the same that was served up in the first half at the Eco Power in round 21 last weekend. We can only call it as we see it here on West Yorkshire Radio, and Dewsbury now looking to capitalise on that Bradford error, but no sooner do they get up to halfway and you see a little bit of movement of the ball from Hookham Davis. They come up with what is their 5th error of the evening. Well, a lot of these players, you've got to forgive them. They have been at work throughout the course of the day, so certainly doing a double shift is never easy, as Bradford certainly would like to get another try further in front with half-time approaching here. It's just 6-0, and they're 25 away now, Bradford, on tackle number 2 as they play the ball here with Tyranot. Holmes in at dummy half, now to Lily. Lily goes short side and just throws the ball into touch. Well, we're not entirely sure what Jordan Lilly's vision there was, but it's error number 7 of the first half from the Bradford Bulls, and the Bradford Bulls supporters below our commentary position here at Barricade Odsel. Certainly ironic and almost calamitous cheers from them as Lilly has inexplicably just thrown the ball into touch. Well, you could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to involve Romain Franco and Jack Smith, but he's overplayed it, and the ball went about 4 or 5 yards forward ahead of them, straight into touch. So no sooner have Bradford put in a very good defensive stint, they're coming up with an error. Scoreboard still says Bradford 6, Dewsbury 0, and we've got 13 minutes to go to half-time here. So a low-scoring encounter at Barricade Odsel under the floodlights, and Dewsbury Rams making a couple of changes with Ronan Dixon, the former York man, coming on the field to help Paul March's side in terms of their momentum and ascendancy, and the 5 inside. The Bradford Bulls half now, 20 in from this main stand side, 10 to the right of centre field, playing the ball with Jacob Hookham. Curtis Davis now goes back on that middle ground central reservation channel with Ronan Dixon again, who's made 2 carries on this set. They're on the last tackle, 30 away from the Bradford line. Sykes perfectly pumped. Holmes takes this one on the full to ironic cheers, and Holmes will turn defence into attack, and he's wrapped up 15 out from his own line, tackle 1. Lilly dummy half towards Smith. Smith wrapped up, tackle 2. Bradford on their own 20-metre line, attacking from deep as Lilly now gives the ball to Eben Skur, and Eben Skur, his first taste of action since that injury sustained at home to Wakefield. It's his 12th appearance of the season, as Jaden Myers now just runs into 3 tough black-shirted Dewsbury Rams defenders on what is tackle number 4. They're up and over halfway here with Gaskell to Davis. Last tackle coming up here for the Bulls. They're 10 inside the Dewsbury half as Gaskell once again will target Carr and Turner. Here goes Romain Franco as Lewis Carr does exceptionally well, but Lewis Carr, the former Castleford Tigers academy winger, is not getting past Kevin Appo and Jack Smith, who had certainly closed off that penetrative line down the main stand touchline. So 11 minutes to go to half-time here at Barricade Odsel. A very low scoring game, partly due to both sides' inability to really offer any attacking threat with ball in hand, as Dewsbury now moving over on the far stand side, and they've come up with another error after a tackle from John Davis. Got the man of the match last week, did John Davis. So 7 errors to 6. It's not a game for the purists. It's just very inconsistent from both sides. And as we said, at half-time, we'll talk about IMG and a little bit about Bradford's transfer targets and another player that's coming through the doors in 2025 as Eamon O'Carroll looks to strengthen Bradford's options in 2025 next season. So it's Bradford Bulls 6, that tried to Dan Smith in the 14th minute, Dewsbury Rams 0. As we see Bradford now 40 away from the Dewsbury line. Another penalty, this time for a high tackle on Romain Franco. The St Helens official Ryan Cox says Brad Graham has gone above the shoulder blade, and that will be penalty number 3 of the evening to the Bradford Bulls, and it's still 6-0 on the scoreboard. And despite having a lot of possession in the right areas of the field, Eamon O'Carroll will be a little bit frustrated that Bradford are still only 6-0 to the good. Nathan Mason, incidentally, has just come on the field, played in that round 15 defeat to Wakefield, so he's on for his 2nd appearance of the season. Out of dummy half from Otter Gaskell. Gaskell to Skur. Skur goes on a big bulldozing run on the angle. He's 2 metres away, wrapped up there by Billington and Garside. They're going to go short side now with Tom Holmes. Holmes tries to skip into the Dewsbury defensive line, offloads the ball to Smith. Smith's in at the corner. Bradford's 2nd try disallowed because, quite rightly, Holmes ran behind his own man, who had taken out 2 Dewsbury defenders, and no sooner have Bradford been given a penalty and a fresh attacking opportunity. Those inconsistencies and frailties, those Achilles heels in Bradford's attack, rear their ugly heads. So it remains Bradford 6, Dewsbury 0. Eamon O'Carroll probably just wants to get the side in at half-time and reassess that focus, but just how many of those 7 changes affect that connectivity and cohesion? Certainly, it took Bradford 65 minutes to warm up last Sunday before they started getting points on the board, and the roller coaster was ticking the scoreboard over. Dale Ferguson's just come on the field, sent off last week for a high tackle, and Dewsbury now are 30 out from the Bradford line in a centre field position. What can the Dewsbury Rams do here? They've got a tackle remaining in the bag as Curtis Davis plays the ball. It now goes to Hookham, to Sykes. Sykes down the middle with Morris. They're on the last tackle, 15 away, centre field. Hookham's calling for it on that left-hand side. Hookham gets it to Sykes. Sykes to Turner. Turner boot to ball, but he's alert to the danger. There is Tom Holmes, and Tom Holmes could go the distance. He's got the entire Dewsbury Rams defensive side chasing him. Lewis Carr, valiant chase back, but it's goodbye. Tom Holmes has gone 100 metres. One of the eye-catching tries of Bradford's season. Holmes a try scorer last week against Doncaster. 7th try of the season. Tom Holmes, fire up the Titanic music. You're going to get teary-eyed with that one. But Tom Holmes has come up with an absolutely sensational solo move. Just when you thought Callum Turner was kicking towards Perry Whitley to touchdown in at the corner, it was Holmes who took it on his own try line. And oh boy, did he say goodbye. Good night, Vienna. He applied the afterburners. There was a valiant chase back from Dewsbury ringer Lewis Carr. But that was a sensational turn of pace from Tom Holmes. Straight down that far stand touchline. He backed himself with conviction. And we're in the 33rd minute here at Barnacard. Odsal and Bradford have doubled their lead. Jordan Lilly, 3 from 3 last week, kicking at 79% for the season. He's 106 from 138. And just when there's been an air of criticism on Tom Holmes, not for the first time, he'll admit he's come up with a couple of errors in games. You think back to the Featherstone game, very uncharacteristic of the former Huddersfield, Castleford man, but he's just shown what he can offer this great club. Great awareness, great read. As Jordan Lilly looks to beat the kick predictor. Kick predictor only at 64%. It's 10 in from touch on that far stand side. But Lilly, from the far stand touchline, adds on an extra 2 points. Bradford Bulls 12. Dewsbury Rams 0 here. 6 minutes to go to half time. Well, 7 changes, but 7 big changes. Players like Dan Smith, Lee Gaskell, Eben Sker back. And the Rams back on halfway. So, West Yorkshire Radio, syndicated coverage on Bulls TV in 2024. As Dewsbury Rams put boot to ball, and Gaskell has it over on the far stand side. So what does Bradford's set after points look like here under the floodlights? They lead Dewsbury by 12 points to 0 as Ockenbaugh is felled with a collision. It was shoulder to shoulder, so very fair. And I think the Dewsbury player who came in at the side of Ockenbaugh has got up a little bit worse as Franklin Pelly now goes on a bit of a mini run over on this main stand side. He'll get to his feet, he'll play the ball. Tyrone Ott out of dummy half. Just tries to catch the Dewsbury defenders, not square, but Bradford on 4th tackle after points, and they're up and over halfway here now with PNG International, Kevin Appo, who's wrapped up 5 inside the Dewsbury half of the field. It's going to go out of dummy half from Ott to Lilly. Bradford have space, they've got 5 on 3. Gaskell kicks into space looking for Ockenbaugh. Bounce of the ball's kind. Perry Whitley alert to the danger. And the former York man will just put the brakes on before Davis and Ockenbaugh can carry him over the far stand touchline. So, Bradford Bulls 12, Dewsbury Rams 0 here at Barnacard Odsal. We've got 4.5 minutes left as we head towards half time. Certainly a lot to talk about this first half performance. The defence once again has been Bradford's standout, their strong point, but as we said, Eamon O'Carroll will not be happy with those 7 errors as Dewsbury now enter the Bradford half of the field as Hookham gives the ball towards Matt Garside, who will play the ball 15 inside the Bradford half on the last tackle as Hookham dummies the kick. Gets it away eventually and he's going to target some space here as Bradford have conceded. No, Dewsbury Rams will concede the penalty. Looked to me like the referee was going to say it might have come off a Bradford hand, but in the end, the Dewsbury kick chase was inside the 10, according to the officials. Bradford awarded penalty number 4 of the evening, and Bradford now, with 3 minutes to go to half-time, they're going to have a full set of 6 inside the Dewsbury half of the field. Romain Franco has just had a bit of a false start there. He's tapped the ball before the officials were ready. So he'll tap it again in the correct spot, and it goes from Lilly to Gaskell, Gaskell to Mason. He's certainly going to have a big part to play in Bradford's 2025 season with a full pre-season behind him. Tyrone Ott goes starting out a dummy half. Tackle 2, 30 away from the Dewsbury line in a centre field position. Lilly's in there at dummy half. Finds Pele, who takes 3. 4 Dewsbury defenders, including Dixon and Ferguson with him. Bradford now just outside the Dewsbury 20-metre line as they come down the middle with Gaskell. Just rolled over on his back. Gaskell gets to his feet. Little bit gingerly and groggily there as Lilly now finds Appo. Appo just runs over a Dewsbury player. They're on the last tackle here, the Bulls. Tyrone Ott dummy half to Gaskell. Gaskell takes aim again, good precision kick in, looking for Rockinbar, but on this occasion, Lee Gaskell has just put a little bit too much on the power bar. That one has gone over the touchline, out on the full, and here on West Yorkshire Radio, with just minutes to go to half-time, it is Bradford Bulls 12, Dewsbury Rams 0. Well, there's 60 seconds left to be precise on the clock, so this will be the final action of the first half, where 2 tries to the Bulls from Smith and Holmes. And a good, solid effort from Dewsbury. Certainly, if you're watching this game, you're probably struggling if you were to say that, you know, there's 24 points between the two sides. One's on 40, in 14th place on 2 and just 1 win. But certainly Dewsbury giving a very good, tough account of themselves and making the Bulls work incredibly hard. So Dale Ferguson plays the ball 25 away from his own line, 25 shy of halfway. Bradford suddenly click into gear and start posting some points. Callum Turner puts boot to ball. We're up and away here. It is round 22. 5 rounds to go, or should I say 4 rounds to go after this evening as the championship season enters its final phase. And it's Ockenbaugh on tackle 1 for Bradford, just outside his own 10-metre line. As Franklin Pelly's brought down, tackle 2, 20 away from the Bradford line. Bradford looking good in attack in these early stages here, looking like they're channeling Eamon O'Carroll's half-time team talk. They look a little bit more focused as they play the ball and come down the middle here with Eben Skur, who is wrapped up there by Jamie Field, Ronan Dixon and Jack Billington. He'll get to his feet 5 shy of halfway. Pele moves the ball along the line to Mason. Mason's wrapped up. Last tackle, Bradford on halfway. Dead set centre of the field. He'll get to his feet, will Mason. Boot to ball here from Gaskell, who will look to target Turner. Turner takes that one here as the sun firmly sets in the distance. So it's very, very dark, soulless sky above. As Dewsbury now look to build some momentum. And it's Perry Whitley. He's had many famous battles with the Bradford Bulls in his York Night days. He'll play the ball 25 shy of halfway on tackle 3. He gets up a little bit gingerly there under a challenge from Franklin Pelly. And Dewsbury once again not able to make any headway with possession and ball in hand. The only opportunities they've had on the Bradford line have come off errors and piggybacks with penalties, as Dale Ferguson now is going to be wrapped up by Davis. Also involved in that tackle is Lee Gaskell and Mason. So they're on tackle 4, the Rams, 1 left. They're just shy of halfway. Davis goes out a dummy half, floats the ball to Field, who's absolutely crashed and battered there by Eben Skur. And they're on the last 5 inside the Bradford half of the field as Hookham takes to the air and Holmes takes that one. And Holmes very nearly away again there. So Tom Holmes is being held in the tackle. It's a very scrappy, sloppy tackle as Jack Smith now is going to be brought down 15 shy of halfway. So tackle 2 here. There's a bit of a hospital pass there Is that Romain Franco's just have to dive forward to take it in? Nathan Mason goes down the middle, a big strong punishing run from him. The former Huddersfield Giant man meets Dale Ferguson head on. So tackle remaining here for the Bulls, 12 points to 0 to the good, the Bulls lead. Lilly back to skirt, and that's the last tackle coming up for Bradford. 5 inside the Dewsbury half of the field. Gaskell will kick towards Carr, takes it 10 away from his own line, and Bradford's kick chase once again very alert, very efficient, very effective. Dewsbury now a fresh set of 6, their second at the start of this second half. They're 10 away from their own try line, 20 away from their own try line on tackle number 2. Former Bradford man Keenan Tomlinson has come on at the start of this second half. It's his second spell at the Dewsbury Rams. He's also had spells at Batley and Featherstone after he left the Bradford Bulls at the end of the 2017 season. So Dewsbury 15 shy of halfway. Coming down the middle here with Ronan Dixon. Dixon's trapped by Pelly and Apo, last tackle. Hookham gets the kick away under pressure from Apo. Straight down the throat of Holmes. Holmes from his own 10-metre line. Looks to involve Ockimbaugh. Runs lateral. Runs straight into Walker and Billington. And he'll get to his feet and he's going to play the ball 15 away from his own try line. So, a good, clean start to proceedings here in this second half. It's still Bradford 12, Dewsbury 0. So 2 consecutive halves of Championship Rugby where Bradford have not had their line breach, which will be another good indicator for Eamon O'Carroll as Jaden Myers is rolled over on tackle number 3, just outside his own 20-metre line. Otts at dummy half now to Ebensker, who goes down the middle. That's tackle 4, the 10 shy of halfway. Bradford just getting a little bit of a roll on here as Tyrone Ott carries Bradford up to halfway and makes a couple of metres inside the Dewsbury half of the field. Last tackle, boot to ball from Gaskell. He's going to target Tomlinson, but Davis is coming in. So too Myers. The Jamaican international is held and trapped 15 out from his own line. So Dewsbury back in possession. It's Bradford 12, Dewsbury 0 here. We've had 6 minutes gone in this second half. Bradford once again, the early team news, if you joined us early, it was 7 changes. Franco, Gaskell, Hallis, Mason, Dan and Jack Smith and Eben Skur all returning for Max Lehman, who's out with illness. Jared Samet, who's missing with a shoulder injury. Aribi Doro, Mitch Suter, Michael Lawrence and Logan Bayliss all rested. And George Tafua suspended. He'll be back in contention next Sunday for that trip to Sheffield and Olympic Legacy Park. So Dewsbury Rams on the last tackle, 5 metres inside the Bradford half. Turner plays the ball. Davis dummy half to Sykes. And the 43-year-old former Bradford man sends one up and under the floodlights. But once again, Tom Holmes, he has adjusted his vision and he takes that one under no real kick chase pressure. So, Tom Holmes, well, I'm not quite sure what's happened there, but the players come running in. It's a Bradford penalty. I think Tom Holmes is saying that something's happened as he was getting to play the ball there. Well, the referee, Ryan Cox, is going to try and sort this out. It's been a relatively clean game. Tom Holmes is incensed about something that has happened there in the tackle. So the officials will stop the clock. We've had 6.5 minutes gone at the start of this second half. It's on Bradford's 20-metre line. And the referee will take a report from the touch judges. And he's just going to call out the 2 captains here. Jordan Lilly is just being spoken to alongside Matt Garside, I do believe. And I think the message is going to be to just clean the game up and not allow it to descend as many championship games have done previously. Well, we can see it now on the big screen. Holmes is getting up and playing the ball, and it looks from here that Jack Billington may have just put a little bit of a headbutt in on Tom Holmes as he was getting to play the ball. It was only momentarily, but the referee will place the incident on report. So he's spoken to both Jordan Lilly and Matt Garside, the 2 captains of the sides, and Jack Billington's potential headbutt, that's what it looked like. It looked like there was A little bit of contact with Jack Billington's head on Tom Holmes there on the big screen. And Bradford now will look to turn the advantage early in this second half. They've got a full set, 40 away from the Dewsbury line. Franklin Pelly tackle number 1. This big Odsal crowd is expectant. The beat in the drum as Appo carries Bradford 20 out from the Dewsbury line. Lilly in front of the post, back down the middle here from Nathan Mason. He's brought down tackle 3, 15 out, centre field position. Ott out of dummy half, goes on the left side to Pelly, and Pelly over the Dewsbury line. He's got the ball down. It's the bulldozer, the human bulldozer, Franklin Pelly. It's try number 4 of the season in 9 appearances for the Bulls. And let me tell you, Franklin Pelly, there's rumours that you might be looking to leave league for Union. Well, with barnstorming runs like that, surely he can remain at Odsal next season if the deal's right. But that is just exactly what Eamon O'Carroll would have wanted right at the start of this second half. Bradford capitalising on Dewsbury ill-discipline, and then from 15 metres out, it was almost a standing start for Franklin Pelly. He has just taken 5 Dewsbury Rams players over that Dewsbury line with him, and there was nothing there that the Dewsbury defence could do. So Bradford further extend their lead here to 16 points to 0, and it's a try 10 metres to left-hand side of the post. So the perfect start, the perfect reaction, as Bradford had that sort of sloppy, stodgy, scrappy attack in the first half, yet to come up with an error in the second, and they have further extended their lead. So kick predictor turned on for Jordan Lilly. It's 89%. Hasn't missed in his last 7 attempts. This to go out to free from free this evening. Jordan Lilly does add the extra 2 points. And it's Bradford Bulls 18, Dewsbury Rams 0, 8 minutes into this second half. Bradford capitalising on the Dewsbury Rams indiscipline there. So Bradford 18, Dewsbury 0. 49 minutes on the clock here now at Barnacard Odsal, as the Dewsbury Rams go short, and they've come up with the ball here, the Rams. So Bradford just caught a little bit cold there on the restart. And now Dewsbury have the ball 25 away from the Bradford Bulls try line, looking to get their first points of the evening and find a way back into this game. So it was Dale Ferguson who was quickest to react to that bouncing ball that I think touched the Bradford hand and was knocked forward. Ronan Dixon tackle 2. Here they go with Field. He goes back to Sykes. Sykes in front of the post, looks for a willing running forward. Finds one, but look at that. 4 amber-shirted Bradford defenders there immediately, bringing down the run from Ronan Dixon, which is his 2nd consecutive carry. Here goes Hookham. Gives it towards Garside, who straightens up and is still going Garside. He's underneath the post. It's Bradford 18, Dewsbury 0. Dewsbury's best field position at the start of this second half as Field tries to breach Bradford's line, but look at the hard work, look at the effort there. 4 Bradford defenders bringing back the interchange hooker as Curtis Davis can't get over the line. He's held up short. There's no need to check if he's made a 4th down there, because, or should I say a 1st down conversion and a try, because clearly Curtis Davis straight out of dummy half. Eben Skur like a brick wall. Well, I tell you what, if you live on the coast and you've got coastal erosion and the ice caps are melting and the sea level rising, you just want to put Eben Skur there, he'd stop anything. Another penalty coming to Bradford in quick succession. Jack Smith held down in the tackle. That youthful exuberance from the 19-year-old Leeds Rhino low knee. Penalty count all of a sudden getting a little bit ugly. 7 penalties to 2 now in favour of the Bulls as Dewsbury start to wilt under that pressure that Bradford are applying, and certainly Bradford doing well to put fatigue into this Dewsbury defensive line. Romain Franco taps and goes, tackle 1, 30 out from the Dewsbury line. Bradford looking to get their second try of this second half as Franklin Pelly once again goes 20 metres and they're now 20 out to the left-hand side of the post, and they'll attack on the left side again with Lilly, who takes the line on tackle 3. He's 8 metres or so away from that Dewsbury line. It's Dewsbury 0, Bradford 18 here. Championship hits round 22, and Bradford are just finding their groove here as it goes to Gaskell, who kicks through. Tomlinson's on hand, but trapped in goal by Myers. Well, this is an interesting start here. Bradford now have forced 17 goal line dropouts in 8 games, so they're averaging over 2 goal line dropouts a game, and that was clever play there from Gaskell. Once again, that precision kicking, that mastermind, all those years and wealth of experience, realising Dewsbury had no one at home, and it was Myers on the kick chase that trapped Tomlinson in goal. Here we go now. Dewsbury have gone short, and Romain Franco, the French international, the former Catalan man, is 15 out from the Dewsbury line. It could be a big second half here for the Bulls as they start to hit their stride. And here's someone running with their stride. It's Ebensker. Oh, he's a couple of metres out from the line, but all the momentum and ascendancy with the Bulls. And they'll pitch one straight out of dummy half. And it's his first try of the season. And look what it means to Tyron Ott. Tyron Ott, in his 25th appearance, he's off the nudie, and look at the noise from this big Odsal crowd. Well, anything that Jimmy Lowes, Mitch Souter, Heath Lestrange can do, we're rolling back the years. Tyron Ott, he's gone straight out of dummy half. The A and B markers for the Rams that were called offside. Perhaps Dewsbury should have disconceded a set restart because they might have managed to stop Tyron Ott from breaching that Dewsbury line. But we're in the 54th minute here at Barricade Odsal, and all of a sudden this one is starting to blow out. That's at the side of the post. Lilly about to go out from 4, you feel. And when we talk about that points for and against, it could be crucial come round 26 with 5 rounds to go. Toulouse on plus 292. Bradford currently on plus 197. Bradford currently on plus 197. Sheffield on plus 146. Widnes on plus 98. And Featherstone on plus 110. Well, another crucial 2 points from Jordan Lilly takes Bradford's points for and against out to 199. And it's Bradford 24, Dewsbury Rams 0 here at Barricade Odsal. Dan Smith, Tom Holmes, Franklin Pelly, Tyron Ott with the tries. West Yorkshire Radio, Friday night championship action. Don't forget Sunday afternoon. We are at the Eco Power Arena, full match commentary and build-up of the big game of the afternoon, which is Doncaster against Halifax Panthers. Even if you're not a fan of Doncaster or Halifax, I'm sure if you're a Bradford fan and you've got nothing to do on Sunday afternoon, you can let your hair down and enjoy the call from the Eco Power. So Bradford on the restart now, immediately looking to go back-to-back as Lilly gives the ball towards Appo, and Appo's 10 shy of halfway, make that 5 shy of halfway. Good metres after contact there from the P&G International, and Bradford now, as we said, they were finding the groove. They're certainly in the mood at the start of this second half with 2 quick-fire tries, and Dewsbury just struggling defensively as Ebensker there gets a quick play the ball in, and they're moving it over on this right-hand side as once again Gaskell kicks into space. Invitation for Turner. Turner does well. 5 away from his own line, but look at that kick chase pressure from Myers and Ferguson, and he's trapped 5 metres out from his own try line. Scoreboard remains here at Barricade Odsal. Bradford Bulls 24, Dewsbury Rams 0 under the floodlights here. Penalty to Dewsbury though, because Bradford have just been guilty of holding down in the tackle, so 7-3 the penalty count. And we've got 25 minutes left here. Well, we'll let you know in the next 10 minutes who the men of the match are going to be. That will go in the poll for you lovely listeners to vote on. I think we're going to put Tyrone Ott in there, because Tyrone Ott, not just for his first try of the season, but Tyrone Ott, you know, he's doing a big stint out there on the field, the full 80 minutes. Certainly an outstanding effort from him. A special shout out to Curtis Davis, of course, the former Halifax working to the Newcastle man. Well, Dewsbury have come loose with the ball for error number 8 of their evening, and now Bradford are 20 out from the Dewsbury line, and that is not what Paul March would have wanted after a rare bit of indiscipline from the Bulls. That was supposed to piggyback Dewsbury in the Bradford half, but as it is, they're now trying to stop Franklin Pelly, who's away over on the fast outside, and Franklin Pelly is just going to go past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the human bulldozer does it again. It's a double for Franklin Pelly. King Canoe could not stop Franklin Pelly there. He was like a man possessed. Well, it was almost like being back at school when you've had your dinner and the dinner ladies shout, "We've still got some left and it's seconds," and everybody heads towards the serving counter. Well, no one was stopping Franklin Pelly there. He was like a man possessed. And Ryan Cox has just warned the Dewsbury trainer, who's come on the field and had something to say to the officials. So he's just been warned. And all of a sudden, this one now, it's bubbling, it's blowing. Bradford in full control. Well, as we said, the rumours are Franklin Pelly potentially looking to join the other code. You'd like to think he could potentially be offered a deal and remain at Bardacard Hudsall. As it is, he will leave the field with John Davis after scoring that try. And on will come Zach Fulton for the first time this evening. And Harvey Makin for his second spell. Well, we've got 22.5 minutes left here at Bardacard Hudsall. And that was Franklin Pelly emulating anything that Paul Anderson did against Gary Connolly all those years ago. He just swatted those Dewsbury defenders off. 5 left on the turf, watching the referee point the finger. Kick predictor for Lily, 74%, 10 in from the far stand touchline. Lily goes out to 5 from 5. And the party started here at Bardacard Hudsall. Bradford heading for second spot in the championship table. They lead the Rams by 30 points to 0. Lily impressive with the boot this evening, 30 points to 0. 5 from 5 for Lily, a double for Pelly, a first try of the season for Dan Smith, and a first try of the season for Tyrone Ott. Well, we might have been a little bit critical in that first half of those 7 changes, and we did say pre-match it might take Bradford a while to hit the stride and get going, but not for the first time. Dewsbury goes short, and they've come up with ball. Lily's knocked the ball on here, and to be fair to Jordan Lilly, he was trying to salvage a desperate situation there. So the boot of Callum Turner has caught the Bulls out. That is the first error in this second half from the Bulls. They joined Dewsbury on 8 errors. And we're going to tell you the 4 players in that man of the match poll this evening. It's got to be Franklin Pelly for his impact once again off the bench. 2 crucial tries. We've got to put Lee Gaskell in for the kicking, the organisation, the game management. We've got to put Tyrone Ott in. He's doing the full 80 minutes out there. There's no Mitch Suter. He's breasted this evening and he's come up with his first try of the season in what has been a catalyst and a spark for this big second half performance from the Bradford Bulls. And I think we've got to put Kevin Appo in there as well, because here he is in defence. Another 80-minute shift potentially from Kevin Appo out there on the field. Dewsbury 20 out from the Bradford line after getting the ball back on the restart. We've just hit the hour mark, so 60 gone, 20 remain. Bradford leading 30 points to 0. How's the appetite and how's the hunger to keep the Rams out? And they might just score here because they're over the Bradford line, but they're held up. Look at that for Bulls defence. Is that Kevin Appo who's come across? And it is Kevin Appo. Kevin Appo has put his body underneath Matt Garside, to prevent the former Bradford man from grounding the ball. So just as we've put Kevin Appo in the man of the match, Paul, he's come up with that try-saving effort. Dewsbury on the last. Sykes to Turner. Looking to go in at the corner is Callum Turner. He offloads the ball back to Sykes. Sykes has thrown the ball straight into touch. Myers came across, hit him legally at the side. And that gets a high five from Lee Gaskell, Romain Franco and Tom Holmes. Bradford look hungry in defence. They don't look like they want to see their line breached for what would be the third consecutive half of rugby league action. And we're certainly seeing that effort, that energy, that teamwork in defence. It's mirroring and matching that impressive defensive effort last week when Bradford kept Doncaster out, repelling 6 straight sets of 6 early in that second half with Bradford down to 12 men. Well, it's Bradford 30, Dewsbury 0 here at Barricade Hudsall. They're just going to play the ball 10 away from their own line, and now they're just going to lay the foundations, the building blocks for what will hopefully be a strong possession, although they're going to go for a 40-20 straight out of dummy half, and that one's got a bit of legs on it, and Keenan Tomlinson's put a foot in touch. Oh, the officials say no. He's got white boots on. Looked like the sole of the boot had just touched the touch line. But the officials a lot closer than where we are. And now Dewsbury back in possession. Clever kick out of dummy half from Jordan Lilly. So they're moving the ball down the middle here with Elliot Morris. And Morris is going to be wrapped up 5 shy of halfway. It's been a great effort from Paul March's side. They have had to work incredibly hard. And here goes Curtis Davis, who's wrapped up there by Harvey Makin. And all of a sudden, Dewsbury find themselves on the last tackle as Paul Sykes has come up with yet another error under no real pressure. So it looks like the Rams have got the jitters in this second half. Their 9th error of the game, their 4th of the second half. Bradford will have a play the ball 20 shy of halfway. Scoreboard says with 18 left on the clock, Bradford Bulls 30. Dewsbury Rams 0 here at Barricade Hudsall on West Yorkshire Radio, Bulls TV. Just a quick reminder where we are in the next coming days. Sunday, Eco Power. We've got full match build-up commentary from Doncaster Halifax at 2:30. And then next Sunday, which is the 8th of September, we've got that absolutely mouth-watering championship game for your lovely listening ears, involving the Sheffield Eagles and the Bradford Bulls. That's the game I'm saying will decide who finishes potentially 3rd or 4th. As we see Sam Hallas come back out here on the field. So Hallas is back on for the final 19 minutes as he plays the ball on halfway with Lilly going on that left-hand side now towards Skur. Lee Gaskell, incidentally, has left the field and he's okay. He's got the all clear. He's okay. Did look to be limping a little bit, but the doctors just give the thumbs up to Eamon O'Carroll. So Bradford go on their attacking raid, looking for more points on the left-hand side with Kevin Appo, who's rolled over, 15 out, left-hand side of the post. Lily's looking to kick towards Fulton and Ockimbo. Ockimbo called for it. Ockimbo gets it, palms the ball back towards Myers. That's touched a Dewsbury hand, and someone's going for 10 minutes in the bin here because Paul Sykes is showing dissent to young match official Ryan Cox, and there's no excuse for that one. Dewsbury self-imploding here. It's going to be a penalty to Bradford. 10 out from the line as Dan Smith interchanges with Nathan Mason. Penalty to the Bulls for dissent. 8-3 the penalty count this evening at Barricade Hudsall. And it's looking like Bradford will have a clean sweep in 2024. Already big wins over Dewsbury in the 1895 Cup by 40 points to 4. And earlier on in this season at the Tetley Stadium by 38 points to 12. Bradford 30 points to 0 to the good here. Dewsbury down to 12 men for the next 10 minutes. Bradford 10 away from the line as it goes to Dan Smith, but Dan Smith's immediately swarmed upon there by Zeus Silk. And Garside is 5 away now. He made a bit of metres after contact. In front of the post here with Holmes. Floats the ball over the top to Ockimbo. Ockimbo back on the inside to Myers. Myers is wrapped up there by Walker and Whitley. 3 metres out from that Dewsbury line. It goes back to Lily in front of the post. Lily caught by Silk, and he's wrapped up 15 out, dead set central in front of the post. Bradford on the 5th and last tackle. 16 minutes to go here as Dan Smith feeds the ball to Eben Skur, and Eben Skur on his return to action. Welcome back, Eben Skur, because he's got try number 2 of the season. He was a try scorer against the Rams in that 1895 Cup game back in February. It's a long time between tries, but after missing the last 8, Eben Skur returns, just like Dan Smith did, to start the try-scoring proceedings. And it's Bradford Bulls 34, Dewsbury Rams 0. We're in the 64th minute here at Barnacard Hudsall. And this second half scoreboard starting to blow out. And more importantly for Eamon O'Carroll, he has had the luxury to be able to rest Aribi Doro, Mitch Shooter, Michael Lawrence, Logan Bayliss, and not force Jared Samet to play with that shoulder complaint. There'll be a lot of freshness to Bradford's trip to Sheffield next Sunday when they go down the M1 for that crucial game, which potentially could be the game that rubber stamps and books Bradford's place in the top 4. And crucially for Eamon O'Carroll and the Bulls, gives the Bulls home advantage for the 2nd consecutive season. Still a long, long way to go. 5 more rounds for the chasing pack, trying to avoid relegation and book the place in the playoffs. But with 4 rounds to go for the Bulls, it is looking that a top 4 finish is well and truly on the cards as Jordan Lilly adds another 2 points. And it's Bradford Bulls 36. Dewsbury Rams 0, Lily 6 from 6. And we've still got 15 minutes left on the clock here at Barnacard Hudsall. Bradford could yet inflict more damage on Dewsbury, and this is doing their points for and against the world of good. You can already see the importance and impact of that points for and against is having on the table, with Bradford in 3rd because they have a plus 29 advantage over 4th place Sheffield. That's obviously going to increase considerably this evening. And it's certainly something that we'll keep an eye on in the coming weeks as the season reaches its most dramatic conclusion in recent memory. Bradford do deal with the Dewsbury Rams short restart at the 3rd time of asking. Kevin Appo immediately up to halfway. Well, Eamon O'Carroll says the points for and against is important, but it isn't going to be a focus point for his side for fears of potentially Bradford then getting that in the mindset and overplaying and putting pressure on themselves. But here come Bradford now. The pressure firmly off them this evening. And Lily's playing the ball 20 metres out. Back in centre field here with Tyron Ott. Looks for those willing runners. Finds Harvey Makin. 15 out. Bradford on the last tackle now. In good field position. Straight after points. Dan Smith draws the defence. Lily, ball towards Myers. It's gone backwards. Myers on the last tackle, on the power play. Myers wrapped up, 10 away from the Dewsbury line. It remains Bradford Bulls 36, Dewsbury Rams 0. Once again, the 4 players in the poll, in the vote. We've given you Lee Gaskell, we've given you Franklin Pelle, we've given you Kevin Appo, and we've given you Tyron Ott. To be fair, there's a number of players out there on the field that could have been in that poll, but we've certainly come up with what we believe are the most 4 important players this evening. Tom Holmes could have been in there as well for that spectacular 100-metre try just before half-time. Well, the cheers in the background will tell you Dewsbury now in double figures for errors because Sam Hallis has forced Curtis Davis to knock the ball on. 15 out, underneath their own post, and we've got 11 minutes left on the clock here, and Bradford potentially about to score their 7th try of the evening. But be rest assured, Paul March's side will make the Bulls work incredibly hard for that 7th try if it is to come. Tyron Ott will feed the ball in the scrum. It's out by Hallis. It goes wide to Lily, to Holmes, and Bradford crossover in at the corner. Romain Franco on his Bulls debut has crossed the French international Look what it means to Franco, Ott and Apo. They're hugging each other. They're dancing in the in-goal area. The 7th try of the evening comes for the Bulls. And that was well-structured, well-executed play from the scrum. Set play move. And Romain Franco, the 26-year-old French international, he had a couple of appearances for Spain when he was younger. Made his Super League debut for Catalans against Hull Kingston Rovers. And Bradford now have hit 40 points here. And we're in the 71st minute at Bardacar Odsel. Well, it's an evening of firsts for the Bradford Bulls because we've seen Smith cross for his first. Ott cross for his first. Franco cross for his first. And you could argue Eben Sker's first league try of the season, he's crossed for his first. And if you're Dewsbury Rams, you're huddled behind the post and you're just seeing Eamon O'Carroll bring back on the field Franklin Pelly for the final 10 minutes. Well, this is by far Jordan Lilly's difficult goal-kicking assignment this evening. He's 6 from 6. And doing the quick maths, is at around 81% this season with his impressive goal kicking under the Odsel floodlights tonight. Can he beat the kick predictor once again? Yes, he can. It's a perfect 7 from 7 for Jordan Lilly. Bradford in the mood on a Friday night. West Yorkshire Radio, Bulls TV. Bradford 42. Dewsbury Rams heading to League 1-0. Bradford heading to second in the table. Well, Bradford are currently potentially on course for their biggest score of the season. As from the restart, Bradford are going to score. They're going to go around and underneath the post. It's absolutely sensational. It's back-to-back scores. And Romain Franco showing his blistering, eye-catching pace. Callum Turner went short. Franco took it on his own 30-metre line. He's applied the afterburners. He's gone 70 metres. And Bradford now, they're absolutely coasting. 46 points to 0. Well, Romain Franco, he's going to be putting his hand up to feature next weekend in that game against the Sheffield Eagles because he's just sent a loud, clear message to Eamon O'Carroll. And when you think about Lee Gaskell, Dan Smith, Sam Hallis, Eben Sker, Romain Franco, Jack Smith, Nathan Mason, they all have an opportunity. They've all had an opportunity this evening to impress Eamon O'Carroll, Brian Noble, Lee Greenwood, and stake a place in what will be one of Bradford's biggest and most important games of the season next Sunday away to the Sheffield Eagles. It's a chance for everyone who is playing tonight to force their way into that side at a crucial stage in Bradford's season. So Jordan Lilly from in front of the post. This one is blowing out here, and we said Bradford might be on course to post their biggest result and biggest score of the season. And with 8 minutes left on the clock, it is Bradford Bulls 48, Dewsbury Rams 0. Well, I was just writing down that Lilly was 7 from 7 when I had to glance back up from the notepad and look at Romain Franco, who had taken the ball on Bradford's 30-metre line, and he was away. Well, that's an eye-catching try. One more score and Bradford hit 50. It might be a little bit cruel. It might be a little bit cruel on Dewsbury because there's been a huge effort from them. But what a second half showing from the Bradford Bulls. West Yorkshire Radio, Bulls TV. Bradford 8 tries to 0 and 48 on the scoreboard. And there's still time for Bradford to potentially score some more. Referee's going to say Jack Smith has to play the ball in the correct position. So Bradford back on the restart from Romain Franco's 2 tries in 2 minutes. And here goes Zach Fulton now, 2 metres inside the Dewsbury Rams half of the field. Bradford will go to second in the championship table this evening, and they're building very, very nicely, some might say. Had to get a bit of an Oasis song title in there with Oasis back as Franklin Pelly plays the ball as Hallis goes out a dummy half to Smith, and Smith's wrapped up on the last tackle now at the 25 out centre field. Hallis goes towards Lilly. Lilly pumps one up, looking for Franco, who's on for the hat-trick. But they've done well there, Dewsbury. They had to shore up their defence after 3 quick-fire tries from the Bulls. And this game has just blown out in spectacular fashion. It was 12-0 at half-time. Bradford in this second half posting 6 tries and 36 points. Bradford's attack is clicking. And the headache for Eamon O'Carroll is going to be very, very clear, because, as we said just before Roman Franco went back-to-back, this evening it was a chance. 7 changes, 7 opportunities. A chance for every one of those 7 players who is playing this evening to force their way into Eamon O'Carroll's first team thoughts for that game against Sheffield next Sunday. Dewsbury on the last tackle, kick over the top. Jordan Lee puts his body on the line, and he's flopped on there by Sykes, who's come out of the sin bin. So 18 points, 3 tries conceded while Paul Sykes was in the sin bin. And we've got just under 5 minutes left here at Bardacard Odsal as Harvey Makin carries Bradford up to halfway. This will be a big boost for Bradford's point for and against. Sheffield may spring a shock in the south of France, but it's always a tough ask. That is probably the game of the weekend, but sadly we can't be here and then fly out to the south of France. But here come Bradford once again. They're on the last tackle now, 20 away from the Dewsbury line, left to centre field. Lilly's calling for the ball in centre field. Lilly gets it, kicks towards Ockimbo. Ockimbo against Carr. Ball's been knocked back by Ockimbo to Myers. Myers has it on the power play, finds Fulton. Fulton offloads back to Myers. It's still the last. And it's Keenan Tomlinson who comes in and just crunches and munches young Jaden Myers up. And that sees the scoreboard still say Bradford 48, Dewsbury 0. Bradford turnover possession, 10 away from the Dewsbury line. So we're just coming down to the final minutes, the final moments of this game. Bradford in complete control of this one. A very, very professional second half performance. And they've not made an error in general play. So clear as day, Eamon O'Carroll's halftime team talk has reset the focus. And Bradford have clearly listened to their head coach. And once again, this Bulls defence, it's unrelenting. It's upsetting for Dewsbury because they're just not being able to make any momentum whatsoever. Here goes Hookham out of dummy half now. But immediately, there's very little thinking time because Dan Smith and Sam Hallis have wrapped him up on what is now tackle number 4. So we're inside the closing moments of this game here this evening at Bardacard Odsal as Dewsbury are wrapped up on their own 30-metre line on what is now the 5th and last tackle, and they look to reshuffle as Hookham puts boot to ball under pressure from Fulton. That's gone straight down the throat of Holmes on the 20. Holmes is up to the 30. Holmes is up to the 40. Holmes is 5 shy of halfway as Field tries to rip the ball out on a one-on-one. Holmes has been pushed off the ball. It's a 9th penalty of the evening. And Dewsbury, well, their ill discipline has not been the best in this second half. We've got 3 minutes left on the clock. Bradford will have a full set of 6, 20 out from the Dewsbury line. Are Bradford about to hit the half century for the second time this season? They beat Whitehaven here in round 19 by 58 points to 0. A try here brings up the half century. 48 points to 0. They're going to come down the middle here with Harvey Makin. Dewsbury backed up on their own try line here. Out of dummy half from Hallis. Lilly goes out wide to Franco. Franco takes the line on himself. Smith was on the outside. He'll take the tackle 5 away. Smith goes in and acts in half. So Smith, loop passing centre field to Lilly. Lilly along the line to Dan Smith. Now to Ott, to Holmes, to Myers, Tomlinson and Whitley and Walker. Wrap up Myers, who will play the ball 5 away from the line. Back in centre field, it's going to go to Tyrone Ott. Ott now to Pele. Pele's on for the hat-trick. Here goes the human bulldozer again. He offloads back to Appo. The half-century's up. Kevin Appo continues his impressive try-scoring run. And the prince, the king of Papua New Guinea, it's now 5 tries in his last 5 outings. 2 tries here against Whitehaven in that big win. And it's a bit of a flare-up behind the posts here in the in-goal area. Tries awarded. The players have come together. And Bradford now have a 9th try of the evening. It's in the 78th minute. Bradford lead the Dewsbury Rams by 52 points to 0. This has been some second half performance. Currently 40 points to 0 in this second half. 7 second half tries. A brace to Pele, Otsker, a brace to Franco, and now Appo. Well, the try has been awarded, but the referee is going to sort the schmozzle out because he's going to take the report from the 2 touch judges. Are we going to see anyone else go to the sin bin? We've already seen Paul Sykes go for 10. I think referee Ryan Cox is just going to take another report from the touch judge here in the in-goal area. Well, he's just awarded the try. We thought he'd already given it. So there's a bit of a flare-up, a bit of a stink. But as it is, Bradford heading to 2nd place in the table this evening. And it has to be said, you know, Bradford, clear as day, they've learned some lessons on how to control the tempo of the game. And I think that will please Eamon O'Carroll, the ability of the Bradford Bulls to control and dictate the tempo of the game. Jordan Lilly about to potentially convert his 9th successful conversion attempt to the left-hand side of the post. That one goes between the posts. Bradford, they have absolutely blasted the Dewsbury Rams this evening. 9 tries to 0, 54 points to 0 on the scoreboard. The Bulls are going second.